Aloha, shifters and light guardians. Welcome back once again for another special rebroadcast of a recent Ibble event. This event is how and why meditation can change your life. So again, just some quick housekeeping. Ibble, if you haven't already checked it out, it's an app that myself and several members of the community have been involved with recently. We're creating content and events on there on the regular. So if you haven't downloaded Ibble yet, again, you can find the links in the info for this video. I also made a really easy to use companion startup guide that will give you the information you need to be able to get started on Ibble, and also to be able to give you easy access to my past threads and events, which you can interact with and add your thoughts to. So again, Ibble, excuse me, Ibble, if you're not entirely familiar with it, the quick recap, it's an app that's not owned by big tech and it's not censored. And the basic format is users can create 60 second videos that they can use to be able to spark a discussion or create some sort of prompt. And then users within the community can respond with their own 60-second audio or video replies. So it's pretty cool. It allows us to be able to kind of like create these really interesting creative projects. It allows us to be able to have conversations that expand across space and time. There's a lot of really cool discussions that I've been creating threads for. We've got our dream log recall thread. We've got our philosophy discussions. We've got our spiritual creators meet and greet and all sorts of cool stuff. So again, if you haven't yet, even if you're just looking to be able to check things out, go ahead, follow the link in this video. Working towards reaching my milestone of 200 followers on Ibble, and not only mine, but also the other creators on Ibble. We're all working towards our own milestones. So when you follow that document, you'll also find links for their profiles, and yeah, go ahead and follow everyone and add some awesome conscious content to your Ibble feed. And again, Ibble, it's still in development, it's getting better every day, and so just be mindful there may be a few glitches along the way, but nonetheless, it's an awesome opportunity for us to be able to practice creating something new. So thank you so much everyone for joining in. I'm going to play the recording of the event last night. For those of you watching on YouTube, it will probably be a little bit glitchy. The video and the audio won't necessarily match up, and again, for those of you on Spotify, you can still find the links for all the information in the info there as well. And I'll be hosting regular Ibble events every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. So I look forward to being able to have you join on Ibble for future events and threads. And if you have any questions, feel free to just shoot me a DM anytime. And yeah, enjoy this event. It went pretty well. There's a lot of information, a lot of gems that get dropped. And yeah, enjoy it. And this is co-hosted with my good friend Melissa. So with that said, I'm gonna go quiet on the mic. I'll come back near the end just to be able to close it off, but enjoy how and why meditation can change your life, our most recent event on Ibble. Thank you so much, and go ahead, leave some comments with your support. See you guys around. Much love. Enjoy. Welcome everyone to another heart-opening, mind-expanding event here on Ibble. This week's topic is how and why meditation can help change your life. This is a very exciting, inspirational discussion for us to be able to explore once again as a community. I'm going to be co-hosting with my good friend Melissa, who is a breathwork coach, and for us as a community to be able to come together, to be able to share some inspiration. And for those of you tuned in right now, has meditation changed your life? Go ahead, use the Q&A feature, submit a response ahead of time, and tell us a little bit about how it has. And also, for those of you who have some questions about meditation, maybe you're just getting started, or maybe you're more experienced, and maybe you want to ask some specific questions that are going to prompt some cool discussion here within the event, go ahead and submit those ahead of time, and we look forward to being able to respond, and for us as a community continue to expand our consciousness together. So on behalf of myself and Melissa, thank you so much for tuning in on Ibble once again. We look forward to your responses, and we look forward to being able to have you join us here as always for another awesome event.
Hello and namaste. My name is Melissa, and I'm very, very honored and thrilled to be co-hosting with Brendon on this topic this Wednesday with you all. I'm excited to hear everyone's experience on meditation and how it has changed your life, and I'm excited to hear from those who have never meditated before and why or why not that hasn't happened yet. Meditation has definitely made a significant change in my life, so I'm very passionate about this topic, so I'm really, really excited to dive deep in the world of meditation with you all. Thank you again, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Aloha everyone, and welcome to another consciousness expanding, heart opening event here on Ibble. My name is Brendon, Mystic Spider-Man. So happy to be able to have you with us once again. Tonight's event, how and why meditation can change your life. This is a very special event that I'm going to be co-hosting with our good friend Melissa, and we'll just give you a quick introduction, some intentions, some housekeeping. For those of you who may be new to Ibble, this might be your first time, a little bit of what to be able to expect. So here on Ibble, this is a really cool way for you to be able to interact with the event, for you to actually be able to help co-create it. So as we keep going throughout this event, you can your questions, and they're not just questions, they're responses. You can share a little bit about how meditation has helped change your life. You can ask questions as well, and you can also spark any of the posts from tonight's event to be able to launch it into a new thread, which myself or Melissa will reply to tomorrow. So with that said, thank you so much. The intention here is to really be able to bring ourselves into our heart space, and I'm going to pass over to Melissa, and she's going to welcome you as well.
Hello, beautiful Ibblers. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Melissa, and I'm very, very thrilled for this event to take part. As Brendon said, this is a really awesome way for us not to just host an event, but to have like a community collaboration. So like he said, like keep submitting questions or responses if you have anything, any insights to share as we go along. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. And thank you again for being here. Our hearts are so warm and fuzzy for this event. And I'm going to pass it back to Brendon.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Super grateful to be able to be co-hosting this with you. So again, as we move through this event, for those of you who may be new, you'll be seeing the new replies and the new additions to tonight's event popping up as we move through this. And so we already have some beautiful responses that have already been submitted by members of the community. And before we even get into things, myself and Melissa, we're just going to tell you a little bit more about who we are so you can get to know our host. And then again, with this, there's always the question within the question. So we're going to take a moment to really just be able to reflect on, well, what is meditation? And then from there, me and Melissa, we're going to share a little bit about how meditation has helped change our life. And then from there, we're going to be getting into our community responses and the questions that you guys have. And thank you again so much for those of you who submitted. And for those of you watching this right now, there's still time for you to submit a response. So submit some questions. Tell us a little bit about how meditation has changed your life. And stay tuned. We got plenty more stuff coming your way. And so yeah, after that, later in the broadcast, we're also going to be practicing some meditation as well. So stay tuned. I'll introduce myself and then we'll get right into things. So just quick introduction for myself, and then we'll pass it over to Melissa so you can learn more about the awesome things that she's doing as well. Again, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Brendon. I've been creating conscious media for quite some time. I facilitate Paradigm Shift Central. This is a community of conscious media creators and spiritual seekers. Many of the people that we're going to be seeing here within the event tonight are also members here in the community. And I will say that for any of the people who add in responses tonight, go follow their accounts. Let's keep boosting each other. Let's keep following each other, and let's really just connect with the awesome stuff that we're creating here. So again, in addition to that, I'm facilitating events here on Ibble every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. And yeah, I'm just super excited to be able to be holding space and creating this environment for us to be able to support and learn and grow together. So if you want to learn more about me, click the links in my profile and check out all that stuff. And feel free to DM me anytime. And with that said, for the thing you've been waiting for, let's hear more about Melissa. She's the one who you want to hear from. And Melissa, I'll pass it back over to you so you can learn a little bit more about who you are as well.
Thank you so much, Brendon, and thank you again for inviting me to co-host this amazing event. So again, my name is Melissa, and I'm a breathwork facilitator. I've been teaching breathwork for a little over 2 years now, mostly on the virtual side, but I'm doing more in-person events this year, including a women's retreat coming up in May, and I'm also hosting a breathwork workshop at a music festival in the summer. And if you want to know more details on that, you can check out my website, or you can shoot me a personalized message, and I would be happy to fill you in on more details on that. I also have monthly breathwork groups that I host on the virtual side, where we all help each other just stay in the consistency of practicing breathwork every single day as an accountability group. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. And I'm also a music producer and an artist. And again, you can find all this stuff on my website. So I'm going to pass this back to Brendon. Thank you again, guys.
So there you go. Again, for everyone here, if you're not following Melissa, be sure to follow her and check her out. So as we move into this, again, let's take a moment here to really just be able to explore the question, well, what is meditation? Before I do that, just like within my quick introduction, I've also hosted many meditations over the years, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So again, this is super exciting for us to be able to be practicing this. And going back to this topic, I think meditation is one of the topics that it will continue to change as you change. You know, when you first get into meditation, it might be like, oh, it's a super simple thing. Maybe it's just about quieting my mind. And then eventually, as you kind of deepen into the layers, it'll be like, wait a second, like this is a way for me to be able to like open myself to like my galactic family and communicate with my ancestors through space, and which I'll be talking about a little bit later tonight. But for me, again, you know, if I were to simplify my response, like, well, what is meditation? Meditation is a practice of focusing on one thing or being aware of where you're placing your focus at any given time. Melissa, what do you think? What is meditation to you?
Thank you so much, Brendon. So meditation to me, like Brendon said, is like a practice of focus and learning how to control your attention. And so like for me, like when I started meditating, it was very, like he said, it kind of comes in layers like as you practice it consistently, because the more you practice it, the more control you gain. And like when I first started, I was all over the place. My thoughts were everywhere. And I'm like, am I even doing this right? I don't even know. And slowly but surely you start to learn like how it works, and you know how your thoughts are actually just like clouds that are passing through rather than distractions. And it's really an interesting practice because you can dive so deep to where you can actually meet your spirit guides, you can feel your energy centers and learn how to heal your body on command, and there's so much more that meditation has to offer. So I'm going to send it back to Brendon.
Beautiful response. Thank you, Melissa. For either of those posts, for those of you watching, feel free to spark those. That's definitely something that me and Melissa can reply to after this event. And so again, you know, what we're going to do here, we're going to take a moment to really just share a little bit about how meditation has helped change our lives. A reminder for everyone here, as we're doing through this, we've got 8 responses that have already been submitted ahead of time. Thank you to those of you who have done that. If you guys want to be able to submit a response, there's still time. Now is a great time for you to submit a response. And again, we're basically just asking you to share how has meditation help change your life, and as well as if you have any questions about meditation, or maybe you may be familiar with meditation, but maybe you got some questions that you think might spark some cool discussion, and maybe the answer might not even be for yourself, it might be for someone else as well. So what we're going to do here, again, we're just going to kind of move into the core of tonight's event, and I thank you guys so much for being here. I'll come back right after this and I'll share a little bit about how meditation has helped change my life, and please keep leaving comments on these videos as we go. Much love. So as I prepare myself to share my response, I actually just want to invite all of us here to be able to practice doing a quick moment of meditation, literally just like one really mindful breath. So for everybody here, go ahead, just put your hands on your heart. When you're ready, close your eyes, relax. Nice, soft, gentle inhale. Nice, soft exhale, bit of a sigh. Beautiful. And so for me, meditation has changed my life. One of the ways that I like to be able to explain meditation is that the mind is like a sword, and meditation is the way to sharpen the sword. So, you know, the sword, the mind, is the thing that we use to be able to bring more focus and precision and direction and clarity. Meditation has healed. Meditation has helped me focus. Meditation has helped me actualize and crystallize ideas from the ether into the physical realm. More to share, but let's hear from Melissa next.
Love that, Brendon. Thank you so much. Okay, so meditation has changed my life in so many ways, but it started when I was dealing with severe depression and anxiety back in 2017. I was on really heavy pharmaceuticals, and I ended up going cold turkey off them because I had a huge awakening about them, and I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. And so from there, I was like, how can I heal myself? And that's when my intuition guided me to meditation, plant medicine, and breath work. And my first meditation experience was actually through Dr. Joe Dispenza and his meditations and self-healing. So it really helped me figure out how to gain back control of my mind, my thoughts, my emotions, and become more of myself from how I used to be when I was being controlled by all these external influences. So it's just, and from there, it's just carried me into a whole nother realm. And back to you, Brendon. I ran out.
Beautiful answer, Melissa. And so I'll just share a little bit more, and then from there we're actually going to get into some of our responses. And our first response is going to be from Ian, and then we'll be chit-chatting a little bit about it there. But again, you know, just for me to add in just a couple more things, and the rest I'll just kind of pepper in as we go. There's a lot of gems that I want to be able to share with you guys. But again, you know, like meditation is the way to be able to practice expanding our consciousness and then contracting our consciousness to really be able to align ourselves with this cosmic breath. And so that's what, meditation can do. There's this like this kind of like rhythm that exists throughout all things. And when we allow ourselves to connect with meditation, we allow ourselves to connect with the breath, we allow ourselves to return back to that rhythm. And so again, it allows us to kind of expand our awareness out into the universe of all around us. And then it all allows us to be super present into the smallest detail of where we are now. Let's hear some more from Ian about how meditation has helped change his life as well.
So, how has and why has meditation changed my life? Well, for the most part, it allowed me to really become deeply present and be able to be aware of my thoughts as separate from me as the conscious observer. And in doing this, it allows me to pull back the lens and see so many perspectives I would have never seen before. And this is something that most people who are like professional athletes get naturally when they get so in the flow with their sport. Maybe you're an artist or you have some other passion that you get involved in and you get into that space. Meditation is a way to do that on demand anywhere so that I can be present in the moment and see greater solutions and therefore create better outcomes and a higher quality of life for myself.
Wow, Ian, thank you so much for sharing your heart with us today. I absolutely love your answer and I resonate with it on all the levels. I especially love how you described how it's helped you realize you're the conscious observer away from your thoughts and your emotions. I really resonate with that as well. It's also helped me recognize the differences between conscious thoughts and subconscious thoughts. So it's helped me recognize what thoughts I'm creating on my own and then thoughts that are coming automatically, whether they're coming from my own subconscious or they might be coming from other people, and so it's just a really awesome answer that you have here. And Brendon, what do you think?
Thank you, Ian, for your response, and for Mel as well. With this, just taking a moment here just to be able to reflect, and then we're going to keep going into more of our responses. Again, even just like the term meditation and the term consciousness go hand in hand. And some people, they think about the term consciousness and it can be a little bit overwhelming. They're like, whoa, maybe that's a really big term, or maybe no one's ever told me exactly what it means. But, at the end of the day, I think, to simply put, consciousness refers to awareness, to be able to expand one's perception. So, I think that's where, as Ian was saying, and just kind of adding my own additional thoughts as we kind of weave this web here, meditation is a great way to be able to practice listening. To be able to practice listening and then to also be able to practice observing without judgment. And then as we allow ourselves to listen, we allow ourselves to see, not just with our eyes, but with our entire being. And then, like Ian said, as an athlete, this can totally level up our ability. Let's hear from Katerina next.
My favorite form of meditation has and always will be art therapy, because I think that it's really good to have something for your mind to focus on while you're trying to still your mind. I don't think that anyone really can ever totally get a still mind perfectly, because there will always be random thoughts that come up, and I think that can be a really big deterrent for people when they start meditating, because they think that they're doing something wrong. But if they see it more as clouds passing through the sky and the sun being that eternal consciousness and presence and love, but the clouds are going to be passing in front of it, and if you just witness that process, it takes a lot of the stress out of the whole experience, because then you can be a lot more detached from it and just be like, oh, okay, that came up, oh, okay, it's just it's a story.
Katerina, thank you for being here, girl. And I love your response. Thank you so much for sharing your heart. I absolutely love how you described the clouds being the passing, or the thoughts being the passing clouds, and the sun being the eternal consciousness. That is such a beautiful description in describing how it feels when you're meditating. And I wholeheartedly resonate with that too. And it took me a long time to not see my thoughts as distractions and rather just, letting them pass by. And like you said, I haven't really had a full meditation practice where I didn't have a thought pass through. So that's a really good point that you brought up. I would say the least amount of thoughts that I have through meditation is when I do breath work before. It seems to really clear my mind and fully just throw me into that consciousness state. So what do you think, Brendon?
Thank you so much, Katerina, for your response, and Mel as well. So, just adding some thoughts to this. Again, one of the incredible benefits of meditation is the idea to be able to practice being at peace, to cultivate being at peace. And one of the things that meditation teaches us is it teaches us about gentleness. And through the act of observing, it also teaches us time and time again how to be able to let go. Let go of our attachment to thought, let go of our attachment to control. So I love, again, not only just what you were talking about meditation being art therapy, which we can talk more about as we go, the many different modalities of meditation. But again, for all of us here, like, I love the idea of thinking about each time we meditate, think of it as a practice of filling your cup with love. It's like, oh, I'm feeling like I got a little bit of energy. I'm kind of agitated. Before you go out into your day, take that moment to fill your cup with love simply by connecting with your breath. There's so much benefits to meditation. We're going to learn more, but let's hear from Kristen next.
Thank you, Brendon and Melissa, for this absolutely amazing discussion topic. How and why has meditation changed my life? This is something that I could go on about, but I will condense it for the purposes of today to let you all know that meditation has absolutely changed my life in so many ways by giving me the opportunity to feel more in control of my body, to feel more connected with my mind. I've been able to help uncover traumas that I had completely forgotten about. I've worked on building coping mechanisms. I've healed things with past partners, and the list could go on. I so appreciate meditation, and breath work is like the extra tool to make the meditations be so much deeper and enriched in your body. So thank you, and I look forward to everyone's responses. Thank you.
Oh, Kristen, thank you so much for your lovely answer. Oh my gosh, I resonate so much with this one as well. You guys are just amazing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, girl, I resonate wholeheartedly with this. Meditation is such an amazing tool to just get in control of everything. Your body, your mind, your emotions, your soul. Like, it is the whole deal, right? And then, like you said, breath work is like that tool that can help you even deepen that experience and help throw you straight into that flow state, that meditative state that everyone's trying to get through meditation. And so, girl, thank you so much for this response. And yeah, girl, the fact that it can help you observe from like outside of your thoughts and emotions really helps you heal. So that too, I totally resonate. How about you, Brendon?
Thank you, Kristen and Mel, so much. And again, Kristen, for everyone here, if you're not already following Kristen and all the creators, go follow them. Kristen is also a facilitator of meditation within the community. And yeah, again, like the breath work, I love the idea of, using the breath as a tool to be able to take us into deeper levels of meditation. We can actually use the breath as a way to kind of like create a natural rhythm within the body that drops us into these kind of like self-hypnotized states, or like a hypnagogic state. And what's interesting is, like, as we kind of change our brain waves, you kind of get into the neuroscience of meditation, it creates this ability to really be able to practice flexing our imagination, living, like accessing a meditation. It almost becomes like an active dream, almost kind of like an active lucid dream, where we really get to be able to tap in with that inner magi. So you guys know I love doing like imagine-based meditations. There's so much stuff that we're just scratching the surface on here. But let's hear some questions from Allie next. Thank you guys so much.
Hi, Melissa. I can't wink. So my question, what do you do when there's a thought in your life that keeps popping up during your meditation, such as, I don't know, a boy? Totally irrelevant to my life right now. Yeah. What do you do when that thought won't go away and it's just right there in the back of your head? It's just sitting there, just hanging out. I would love the answer to that. Thank you. Mwah.
Allie, what up, girl? Thanks for joining the conversation, girl. So I love your question because I get distracted thoughts all the time. And what helps me is, while I'm meditating, I remind myself that I'm not the avatar that I'm playing. So, these distractive thoughts really aren't anything to do with what I really am. And that kind of helps me sink deeper into that conscious awareness, and it helps me just
like how Katerina was explaining earlier, imagine like these thoughts just kind of passing by, and eventually when I let go of that attachment to that thought as my ego, it kind of just drifts away, and then I'm back in my full presence. So I hope that answers your question. Brendon, do you have any insight to add to that?
Thank you so much, Allie, for this question. Again, just to reiterate, what do you do when there's a thought that maybe you don't want and it's maybe distracting you while you're meditating? My response to this, and again, everybody here is going to have their own responses, so, practice thinking for yourself, of course. My response from my own experience, I like to be able to, instead of just trying to like force the thought away, instead to begin to become curious as to why the thought is there. Meditation is a way to really be able to, in certain circumstances, take a magnifying glass to kind of like the things that are underneath the surface. If you kind of like distill the water, things will naturally rise. So if there's a certain idea, in this case, maybe it's like a past boyfriend or girlfriend or something like that, give yourself the opportunity to kind of have those discussions with yourself. Get curious, like, well, why? Why is that there? Is there something unresolved? Is there something where I still feel like not fully at peace? Maybe that's part of yourself where you can practice sending more love. So obviously there's more question. Maybe some people can spark this, but let's hear from Natasha next. Thank you.
Hello, Melissa. Hey, Brendon. So happy to be here. So meditation has definitely benefited me in that in meditation, you become much more aware of yourself, of the present moment, at least the type of meditation I practice, mindfulness meditation. And so that carries over into your everyday life, and you realize you reap the benefits actually a lot of the time when you're not meditating. So I've become so much more aware of social conditioning, of when I'd make snap reactions, and just coming to a place of responding instead of reacting. And so then I have a question that I feel like would benefit a lot of people. If meditation does not resonate with someone, what are some alternative practices you guys can suggest to reap similar benefits? So, Melissa.
Natasha, girl, yes, mindfulness is everything. Girl, I love that. So to answer your question, alternative methods. So it really, I feel like, depends on the person, right? I feel like really anything can be a meditation based on what people are really passionate about. Like, what is something that you can do where you completely lose track of time? Like, you could literally sit there and do it all day, and it feels like it's just one moment versus like, always like looking at the time and whatnot. So that could be like art therapy, like Katerina was saying, or it could be a sport like Ian was talking about, or it could be playing with your cat, it could be taking a bath, or other alternative methods rather than just like sitting down and meditating. You could do chanting, you could do breath work, you could do tapping. There's so many different forms and different ways of meditation. Brendon, do you have anything to add to that?
Thank you, Natasha. AML. Lots of energy in this event. So yeah, again, with this question, and thank you, Natasha, for the question, it takes us back to the original question. Well, what is meditation? Meditation for some people might just be sitting down and shutting up and stuff like that. But, very simply put, I think meditation is not only the practice of focusing on one thing at a time and being aware of that focus, but it's also the practice of being present with this moment here and now. And so, like, what are the things that allow you to practice being present? So again, things like taking a bath, going out in nature, playing sports, listening to music, doing art, having a conversation. Those type of things are things that again, if it can practice bringing you back into the heart space, if it can practice bringing you into the present moment, that's the benefit. Like I think there are benefits to sitting down and shutting up and listening to the subconscious and the subtle thoughts and everything like that, but it's not the only way to be able to kind of like connect to the benefits. Let's hear from Brianna next.
Thank you so much for this topic. I am so excited to hear your responses. Meditation has changed my life because it expanded the space between my reaction and my action within a situation. So when I have an emotion come up, I take a deep breath and I'm able to kind of observe that emotion, and then I'm able to take action in a better direction than maybe I would have been without meditation in my life. My question for you is, what do you do when someone says, I can't meditate, or I'm not good at it? How do you respond to that?
Brianna, I love this response. Thank you so much. And I fully resonate with expanding the space between reaction and action, and becoming the observer rather than the reactor. Like that was one of the first things that I experienced when I started meditating consistently, and I was like, holy crap, this is magic. So to answer your question, so what can I do when people say I can't meditate or I'm not good at it? I would tell that person first and foremost, how you speak is how you're creating your reality. So if you say you can't do something, it's not going to work well. So you have to change that in your mind first and say, I can. And then maybe sitting down and meditating, you know, like by yourself isn't like something that fully resonates with you. Maybe there's another way for you to find that meditative state of mind, whether if it's through breath work or chanting or doing art, etc. Brendon, what do you think?
Thank you, Brianna, so much for the question. And again, you know, with this topic, my response to this, if someone was just like, well, I can't meditate, one of the things that I think is so helpful for people who may not be familiar with meditation is to find a good guided meditation, you know, to be able to find a facilitator that can help walk them through it. You know, meditation is not this idea where, you know, for some people it's just like, meditation can be like walking into some scary woods and then you feel like you're getting lost and then you get spooked by things and you're like, I can't do this. And then you run away and you say to yourself, oh, I'm not good at it, I can't do it. My mind didn't get quiet, and you make up all of these, you know, preconceived notions of maybe what someone told you meditation was. There are many different types of meditation. We keep reiterating this, but again, you know, when you have someone who is helping facilitate a meditation, that in itself can be so powerful, because it allows you to really be able to like drop into a space that maybe you're just like, whoa, I've never even been in this space before. But having that someone as a guide to be able to help lead you into that space is super powerful. So find whoever that person may be. Let's hear from Luna next.
Hello, Brendon and Melissa. Thank you so much for creating this event. This is amazing because I love meditation. Meditation is a lifesaver. It has changed my life. It has helped me love myself more, connect with myself, open my third eye, release my magical gifts. It has helped me heal when I have been sick. It has helped me heal trauma that is internal, that you can't see on the outside. And I love meditation because, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's not for me, I can't do it. But there's so many different modalities of meditating that people, you know, they just cut it off too short before they even give it a chance. So my question for you is, what is your favorite modality of meditation that's different from the norm?
Luna, thank you so much for this beautiful response. I totally agree. It's all about opening the gifts and finding yourself. And you're right, like people, I feel like meditation is something that you really have to give it a chance. Like do it a few times before, you know, reflecting on how maybe you need to switch up like what you're doing for meditation if it's still not working. And to answer your question, what is your favorite modality that's different from the norm? I have to say breathwork. There's a particular breathwork that I do. It's like a 45-minute long breathwork that actually helps to activate the DMT in your body, and it can send you on some really crazy trips. So that's probably my favorite way to meditate, but I always have to find the space and time to sit and breathe for 45 straight minutes in order to do it. What about you, Brendon?
Thank you, Luna, for this beautiful question. Again, as we move through this event, for those of you who may be watching this live, if you guys still have some questions, some responses that you want to submit, go ahead and do those now. We're almost at the end of the ones that have previously been submitted. Mel and I will stick around here. There's still some more things that we'll be able to talk about, and then again, we'll do some like micro meditation practices as we go. I may be making this in a part 2 because I want to be able to dive into this. So again, Luna, like the first part, which you were saying, again, just it's beautiful hearing how it's helped change your life. And then again, the question, you know, like what sort of like meditation practices and modalities do we do that maybe a little bit different? I have several answers to this, and so, you know, one of the answers I would say would be, you know, like dance, like ecstatic dance and flow exercises. You guys see this. I like play with like my lightsabers and my bow staffs, my martial arts. I love the body movement, to be able to get into this practice where we can really feel like the energy of the body moving like water and really playing with that elemental energy inside of me. And again, doing that as a way to be able to play, but then connect with the present moment. Stand by for part 2. So continuing along here, again, many of you guys have tuned into some of the meditations that I've done, and I really love the idea of being able to create story meditations. A meditation where we allow ourselves to kind of like experience a story that is designed to be able to help like evoke a visceral experience. You know, this idea of you kind of like arrive into the woods and then you meet a mysterious character and then they take you to like their house and then they open up like a treasure chest and you find something inside. These ideas where we can practice meditations, and this usually helps best when you have someone facilitating, which is again what I have commonly done many times, because it allows you to kind of like create this container where you can kind of like create a space where the universe can fill it, and it can fill it with ideas and messages, and it allows you to really just be able to open yourself up to like this deep primordial wisdom. When we get into these practices of like guided meditations and story meditations, we create a container, and it's like this higher conscious wisdom kind of like flows into it. Guess I'm making a part 3, stand by. So there's more that I could talk about here that maybe we'll sprinkle in a little bit later as we go. A couple other things, again, you know, with like the imagination practice meditation, those are super, super powerful because like the visualization really helps kind of like, it helps like really just kind of like bring in some exciting opportunities as you move into like higher states of conscious and meditations. And so one of the meditations that I also like to be able to think about and talk about is like the practice of like creative like channeling, you know, like the flowetry, the light channeling, these type of practices. So again, you know, it's this idea that, you know, I kind of talked about this, but it's like we're like an antenna and we receive this conscious information. So our job is to be able to practice being still, silent in relative circumstances, and then when we are still and silent, we allow ourselves to kind of like receive these messages, and again, this can be expressed in the form of creative expression, but this can also be like messages from our ancestors and guides and even extraterrestrial family. But let's hear from Chad next.
Hello, so I've never made a consistent practice with meditation myself. I've never committed myself to that, and it wasn't until recently that I joined Melissa's breathwork groups a few months ago and committed to doing breathwork consistently, and that has been amazing. So I have a question for you guys. I know in the past when I've meditated, I kind of struggled finding a comfortable spot or position, something that worked well for me, and so I was wondering if you guys prefer to lie down or cross-legged, maybe sitting in a chair, I don't know, who knows, standing up maybe. I would just love to hear your guys' different perspectives on the positions and what you guys prefer, maybe different positions for different meditation purposes as well. I would love to hear that. Thank you.
Oh, Chad, thank you so much for your beautiful response. And I honestly feel like, you know, you meditate without even thinking about it because you work out every single day and you are in that flow state when you're working out, because I see you just fully in your body. And Chad lives with me, by the way, you guys, if you don't know. So we work out together all the time, and I see him in this flow state all the time. So he's meditating without even know he's meditating. But for positions, I would feel like if you really want to try like sitting down and meditating, for beginners, I feel like the easiest way would to either be sitting in a chair, so it's easy for you to have your spine erect without having to really think about it. You have some support there, or laying down is even better. But laying down might be tricky if you're susceptible to falling asleep. So you kind of have to play around with that. Brendon, do you have anything to add? Oh.
Thank you, Chad, so much for your question. And again, you know, with a lot of people who may be new to this meditation, this question is totally relative. We have this idea that, you know, like meditation has to look a certain way. One of the ways that I like to be able to really practice, if my objective of meditation is stillness, then, you know, and in many cases I encourage you to practice this, because when you're practicing stillness in meditation, it really helps you kind of drop into those like deeper states of like flexing the imagination or just awareness, because you're not, the energy isn't kind of getting like diverted to other parts of your body if you're wiggling and stuff. One way that I find is to kind of like sit on a couch and then maybe put like a pillow behind my spine, and then this is a trick, to put a pillow on my lap and then to gently place my hands either like this or just kind of like even the thumb and the index, thumb and the pinky kind of like together like this, and then you can actually feel the pulse through your fingers, which is very interesting, and then just place them on the pillow. And then if you do that and you get comfortable and just kind of keep your spine up, that for me is a super practical way to be able to do this. We got some more questions. Let's hear from Natasha next.
Oh, hey, Natasha here again. I actually have another question, because Melissa had mentioned this about how to tell the difference between thoughts that you're generating and thoughts that are conditioning that aren't you, right? Or things that you've heard. I would love to hear both of your thoughts on how to distinguish those, because the mind is a funny place. Muchas gracias.
Natasha, thank you so much for your additional question. And I absolutely love this question because I have a fun little exercise we can do to understand, how do I know if I have a conscious thought or a subconscious thought? So go ahead and just say hello in your mind right now. That's you making a conscious thought. So that's how you know, like, that's you, like, creating a thought. And those are the thoughts that we should be following, you know, when we're living an intentional life. A lot of the time we'll have thoughts that come through, that stream through, that aren't coming directly from us. So unless it's like, you know, your higher self, it's good to know, like, if it's your higher self, it's like, how can I recognize, like, what thought is coming from where? You'll know if it's coming from your higher self because you'll feel it come, like, you know, from your heart. It'll feel like, oh, this is, you know, something I would do from my heart. Hold on, part two. So when you have a thought that comes through that feels triggering, or, you know, it doesn't feel right, or, you know, it just kind of feels like it's not, you know, coming from the heart, that's probably some kind of social conditioning that you may have picked up from, you know, your life experience. And also there is opportunities to receive, you know, psychic messages if your mind is open to that. And so there's just a lot of ways to kind of differentiate, like, what kind of messages are you receiving and where are they coming from. And a lot of this kind of just comes from mindfulness practice, and recognizing, like, you know, when you receive a thought, how does it feel? And it just all comes on, you know, observation of that. Thanks again for an awesome question. Brendon, do you have anything to add to that?
Great question, Natasha. I'll try answering this. This one's actually a little bit tricky. You know, it's just like, again, we've talked about this idea. It's like you're the observer of your thoughts. They're passing by you like a cloud. They kind of come and go. And we're kind of exist in this, like, this ocean, right? And then that kind of seems to be the experience where, you know, it's just like things will kind of like pass through us. It's like this meditation where you can imagine you're sitting at the bottom of a lake and you see these little, like, fish going by and everything like that. Now, are all of those your thoughts? I guess in some way, but, you know, are some of them not necessarily as much your thoughts? I guess. I think what's interesting is to kind of like check in with where you feel the thought, and also to kind of get curious with the idea of just like, you know, what is the origin of that thought? Is that something that I genuinely believe, or is that something that my parents told me or my school taught me or something I saw online or something like that? I think we almost have to really reverse engineer each thought in order to be able to find the origin, if it came from our heart or if it came from somewhere else. We got another question. Let's hear from, what is it, Luna? Who's next? Great.
Hi, Levy. So, Melissa, I have a question. Since you do the breath work that does the DMT release, which I was going to look into, so funny that you mention it. What is the trippiest trip that you've had during one of those sessions?
Thank you for your additional question, and thank you for your beautiful response earlier and just sharing your heart, by the way. That was just so lovely, and like how meditation really has impacted you, and it shows, girl, you glow. So my trippiest DMT breathwork experience was very well, I've had a few, but the one that comes to mind was the most like lucid experience that I had, and it was where I kind of like was able to travel through every single one of my energy bodies and like understand like what it was, and it really helped me like realize, oh my gosh, like I'm not just this physical body, right? So like when I had done the breath work, it goes through every single chakra, and when I got to the solar plexus, for whatever reason, like I started like hearing all of these thoughts at once, and then that told me I was in my mental body. Part 2 coming up. Yeah, I was experiencing all these crazy like thoughts all at once, and it was kind of disorienting at first, but that told me, oh, I'm just traveling through my mental body right now. And then I continued to do the breath work, and I got to the heart chakra, and I started like feeling things, and I actually started laughing really, really loud. Like out of not my control. Like, it was like howling laughter. I've never laughed this hard in my entire life. Like, Chad even had to like come into our bedroom and check on me because he was worried. He's like, what is she doing? Is she okay? But that was me going through my emotional body. And then as I continued up the chakras, when I reached the crown, in the crown part of the meditation, the breathwork meditation is really relaxed compared to the rest of it. That's when I was really sitting in my full presence, and I felt this bliss over me, and I could see this beautiful golden light. And part 3 is coming up. Yeah, last response to this question. So when I reached the crown, I was like shrouded with this beautiful golden light in my observing field, and I felt so much bliss. It's almost hard to explain, but I felt like I was everything and nothing at the same time. And I just knew in that moment, like, no matter what happens, everything is gonna be okay. And I had flashes of like meeting my higher self, and I also had flashes of meeting my spirit guide, which ended up being a spirit dragon named Rover. I learned his name in a dream that I had later. But it was just the most lucid experience that I had with breathwork. And if you want that guided meditation, the breathwork meditation that I did, I would be more than happy to send it to you, so let me know. Brendon, I am super curious now. What has been your most lucid meditation experience?
Thank you, Luna, for this beautiful question. Mel, love hearing your experiences as well. So how many parts is this going to take? We'll see. So there might be a few answers that I have for this. One of the ones, again, we've done like so many meditations within our community. A lot of them kind of like focus around like this whole vision of like us like showing up around the guardian tree as activated light guardians, kind of like our activated avatar forms, and we do like this like Care Bear stare towards the tree, and it like ripples out, waves out into the dream and into the grid. That's always super, super powerful, and we've done like variations of this. There's one that we did, and I'm mentioning this one in particular, and well, I mean, we've done variations of this multiple times, but one that we did in particular, where we were like all above the earth, kind of like astral projecting, not actually, but like imagining ourselves astral projecting, then like doing this like Kamehameha, like this energy beam of love, like, and we had this beautiful music playing while we were doing it, and as we were doing it, I was getting like this like continuous activation sensation through my body. Part 2 coming up. So continuing along here, this activation sensation thing, this is super, super interesting, and I'm sure some of you have experienced this. You know, sometimes we refer to it as like the Kundalini energy and stuff, and it's just like this tingling electrical sensation that moves through the body. Sometimes we have it in the form where we like kind of like really resonate with like music or just an experience. I like often refer to it as like truth bumps. Sometimes when you really kind of like connect with something on a deep heart level. But in this moment, what was interesting and fascinating, and I've experienced this a few times, but this one, it was just like one time in particular where I really, really remember it, because it was the first time it happened, where basically the activation sensations, if you guys know what I'm talking about, leave some comments. Usually they kind of happen and then it's kind of like gone in like maybe like, 5 or 6 seconds. This time, because I was totally just in my flow of my breath and just aware and still facilitating the meditation while doing this, and the music, it was just kind of amplifying it, this activation sensation continued for like a good 2-3 minutes as we were playing out this epic scene in our mind. Part 3, I'll tell you guys another thing real quick. So there's many stories that I could probably share here. Some of them aren't even like PG, but I'll save those maybe for another broadcast or something like that. But anyways, Tantra. What I was talking about here, though, again, the one thing that's like, and even what I'm about to say is kind of like any other platform might be censored, but like meditation while on psychedelics, for me, and for some people it'd be like, oh well, maybe that's cheating and stuff like that. But like seriously, like it's interesting because a lot of people that work with psychedelics, mushrooms, LSD, DMT, and things like that, and it'd just be like, whoa, it's fascinating, and they're just kind of like interacting with the external world. But when you're working with those sacred medicines, those sacred tools, and you turn inwards, like, holy cow, it's so incredibly beautiful and powerful. And to be able to have the familiarity of the breath to be able to help guide you through those methods, that for me, it was like literally like being in like a very livid, lucid dream experience. So yeah, let's keep chatting a little bit more before I get wrapped up. So another thing, I have to mention this, and again, this is kind of like a segue for a whole nother event, but another super, super powerful experience with meditation was the CE5 experience that me and Lacey had on more than one occasion. And again, CE5 is human-initiated contact with extraterrestrial beings. And so this experience was literally like us like meditating up at my cottage, and literally like through the practice of getting into our heart and mind-heart coherence and kind of sending out the signal out into the universe and kind of like beaming down the coordinates of where we are, which again I'll do in a future event once we get there. But with this event, then we literally made contact, like literally a UFO showed up and everything like that. Like I know it's crazy, I'll talk more about it another time. That for me, undeniably, like an incredibly like vivid lucid meditation experience, like in this dimension, like so freaking crazy. Again, just shows that meditation is also like a tool for us to access new abilities. But hold on, more to share. Needless to say, there's so much for us to be able to talk about when it comes to the concept of meditation. And, you know, like Melissa and myself, we'll be holding space for more of these discussions on deeper levels as we continue to be present here on Ibble. Right now, as we get close to wrapping up this event, again, for anybody here, if anybody has any last minute kind of like things that they want to submit through a question or response, go ahead. Even if you guys just want to submit some gratitude, we'll play those close to the end of the event. Please go ahead and do that. I just got some couple notes here that I'm just going to go over, and then I'm going to pass it over to Mel, and then we're going to go through a couple quick exercises, even a laughter meditation exercise, which I haven't even talked about yet, and then we'll get close to wrapping up the event. And anything that we don't share today, again, we'll come back for another event. But again, you know, like with meditation, it is a way to be able to become aware of things that are holding you back, and then to be able to provide yourself with a gateway and an opportunity to connect with your guides and your galactic family. And yeah, let me just kind of list off the things that I'm going to share, and then we'll pass it over to Mel in 2 seconds. So just a couple more things from my notes here that we didn't explicitly get into that I just want to be able to mention. Again, yeah, like meditation, like it's interesting because like, you know, meditation is this idea that it's such a small piece of a much bigger story. And the bigger story is the fact that like we are literally multidimensional beings existing here on this earth plane, but there's much more to this reality. Meditation, you know, gives us the ability to be able to access the inner worlds, and it's directly connected with dreaming. And we'll talk more about, I'll be doing some more events on dreaming as well. And again, you know, like through practicing meditation, it can help us be able to kind of like facilitate that awareness into the dream space. But again, you know, meditation is a practice of being able to really align ourselves with our heart, to reconcile ourselves with our heart, to get right with ourselves, to forgive, to heal, and also to really begin to kind of like imagine the futures that are coming into our reality and to connect to them through this golden path, through the present moment of the now. I'll pass over to Mel for more she wants to share.
Love it, Brendon. And just to kind of snowball of what you were just depicting. So like, with meditation, it's a powerful tool to also use for manifestation. And this is something I actually learned through Dr. Joe Dispenza, and where our bodies don't know the difference between like what we're experiencing out in this reality and what we're experiencing in here. So when we're able to attain like a still meditative state and start visualizing and start producing those emotions as if like whatever we're imagining to be real, we literally can utilize that practice to attract what we want in this reality, because it's like it's all law of attraction, right? So that was just my last thought that I wanted to throw in here, and I'm going to send it back to Brendon, and we're going to do some fun meditation activities. Woohoo!
All right, so let's practice some meditation. We're actually going to start with a laughter practice meditation. Some of you guys have never done this before. How is laughter practice meditation? Like, honestly, this is a super powerful way to be able to connect into your heart space and really just be in this present moment. So here's the basic instructions. I invite you to be able to follow along. What you're going to do, you're going to focus on the exhale, and the sound is going to be like this. Ha, ha, ha. Don't worry about the inhale. The inhale will naturally happen. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to do this type of breathing where we just kind of like lift our chest, and we're just going to kind of breathe from like the lower stomach, the lower diaphragm. So it's going to be like this. Ha, ha, ha. And then what you're going to do, and we'll practice this in the second part, is to just allow yourself to just naturally continue this rhythm of breathing to the point where it evolves into a cascading laugh. So you'll follow along with me, and my laughter will probably trigger your laughter. And if you've never done this before, allow yourself to experience whatever it needs to be experienced. Maybe you're just going to observe, maybe you're just going to join right in, whatever the case may be. So stand by, inviting you to practice this laughter meditation with us. All right, so straighten up your posture, follow my lead. Go ahead, take a regular deep inhale, exhale. Inhale, focus on the exhale sound, ha. Ha, 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 ha. Allow yourself to get pretty silly. Don't worry, you can make it. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close your eyes if you want. Allow yourself to just be in the awareness of your breath. As you breathe here, we're going to carry the softness with us right into the next meditation, and Melissa will guide you through that. Hold this energy. So straight.
So now we're going to slow down, and we are going to inhale in through the nose for 5 seconds and exhale through the nose for 5 seconds. So go ahead and start to inhale slowly. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And continue to breathe as we go into part 2. Now, I welcome you to place your hands on your heart and take a deep breath into the belly first and then the chest. And sigh on the exhale. And now I invite you to do some breath watching. Allow yourself to breathe naturally as you're feeling your heartbeat. And just sit still, fully present in your body. And as you continue to breathe, I'm going to pass it along to Brendon.
So for everybody here, just continuing to breathe. Just allow yourself to become familiar with this softness, with this space. Soft, gentle inhales, and soft, gentle exhales. From this space, just allow yourself to feel your breath connecting to the breath of the universe, the breath of the cosmos. Expanding, contracting, learning, growing. And with each breath, just allow yourself to be able to fill yourself with this softness and yet also this excitement. This knowing that you have everything you need inside of you. And through the wisdom of the heart, you too shall always be guided. Continuing to breathe here, give yourself the gift of this present moment. So from this place of softness, allow yourself to use this opportunity to invite in this beautiful vision of the adventure ahead of you. Allow yourself to open your heart to the great mystery. Allow yourself to invite in the feelings of what it will be like for you to be able to align yourself with your dreams, to connect to those synchronicities, to be able to see and hear the wisdom of your guides speaking through you, through the subtle reality around you, through the language of symbols. You are supported, you are guided, and this space is always accessible to you. This knowing is always accessible to you. It is always only one breath away. Take a moment here on your own time and just breathe as we gently bring our awareness back to this space and open your eyes. And so if you haven't already yet, just take a moment here to gently bring your awareness back to your physical body. Slowly wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, open your eyes. And so, yeah, thank you again, everyone. This has been a beautiful experience. And what we're going to do now, we'll still kind of like in this frequency, this meditative space, this heart open space. I'm going to play with you guys. I'm going to upload a clip for you of some chakra toning practice. And this is a clip, some of you guys have seen this, it went viral on TikTok, but I invite you guys to like go back and watch this specific clip more than once. It's easier for me to just play this clip. It's got like graphics on screen and information, and it's all these sacred tones that are literally being shared for you as a sacred science. These corresponding frequencies help kind of open up the heart chakra, the channels, the many energy centers within our body. So go ahead, try along and observe and experience this for yourself. All right, so for those of you who are here, again, welcome back. And with that chakra toning clip, I'll just take a moment again to be able to explain, again, these like sacred tones, what they do. You can think of it as a way to just be able to help kind of like open up these energy channels, but then also to be able to help balance them as well. And then with these, they also open up like new modalities and kind of like these superhuman abilities that we naturally have inside of us. Perhaps we'll do a future event all about just kind of like talking about the chakras and educating you guys and answering any questions. But nonetheless, one of the best ways to be able to in that circumstance, be able to experience that is to try it for yourself. And you can think of it as, again, basically kind of like tuning your instrument. So as we've shown today, there are many forms of meditation. We would love to stick around here forever, but we have to be mindful of our energy. And it's been so wonderful just sharing space with you guys. I'm going to pass it back to Mel. We're just going to chit chat for a little bit more, and we're going to get close to wrapping it up. Submit any closing gratitude. And thank you guys so much. This has been awesome.
I'm still coming out of that trance from that beautiful meditation. Thank you so much, Brendon, for that awesome visual too. So I just wanted to conclude with some last tips for the beginners amongst us, those who have just started their meditations or haven't done them yet. So I recommend, like Brendon had mentioned earlier in the discussion, is to maybe find some guided meditations. That's how I started with my meditations. I went to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and you can find those for free on YouTube. Really awesome meditations. A great place to start. And also, if you have trouble quieting your mind for a meditation, you can totally try breath work and bypassing that consecutive thinking with using the breath work to help you just go right into that meditative state. And I think the most important thing is just to try not to put too much pressure on yourself and just to be and allow things to come as they are. And with the breath work, I recommend you just starting with deep inhales into the belly, in through the nose, and slow exhale out the mouth with a longer exhale than the inhale. And continue to do that pattern until you find yourself in a really still place, and that should help you dive right into that meditation. But if you ever have any questions or want to try other breathwork techniques, you can always hit me up on Instagram. I'm at @MelissaBaller_, and on Ibble, I'm at @MelissaBaller. So hopefully I can connect with some of you all on here deeper with the breathwork. Brendon, do you have any last conclusions you would like to share with our beautiful people?
Thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Mel. Again, just taking a moment here as we just get everything wrapped up. And yeah, for those of you who may be watching this, if you're already continuing meditation, like, yeah, like keep with it. But at the same time, it's not even literally something that like you always have to do every day. But at least once you start building it, you build it like a muscle. And then, you know, like the more you kind of keep consistent with it, like the deeper that practice can go. But at the same time, life is life. You're going to get busy. You may go weeks without actually meditating. But even if you're not meditating in the traditional way, just allow yourself to constantly have those opportunities to check in, even if it's just a few breaths throughout the day, whatever the case may be. Adapt with the reality around you. But again, you know, like find a practice that works for you. Find a routine, find ceremony. Allow yourself to, again, use the meditation as a way to kind of like bring yourself back to that heart space. And again, there's so much more for us to be able to talk about. This is really just an introduction. And again, for everybody here, for the beginners, keep exploring, stay curious, and there's more for you to learn. I'll pass it back to Mel with some closing gratitude.
Thank you so much, Brendon. I just wanted to take this last video to say thank you to all of our contributors. Thank you to our audience, and thank you to Ibble for allowing us to even have this event exist. And thank you so much to Brendon for hosting this and for inviting me to co-host this. I had so much fun with this experience. I'm really excited to go back and watch this whole thing over. And thank you again, guys. Much love, and I will talk to you guys very soon.
As Mel said, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, for being a part of this beautiful event. And yeah, reminder, you can still spark any of these posts. Go ahead and do that. Myself and Mel can reply to it on a day after this. And go ahead and continue to leave your responses and questions. We can add some responses after this event has concluded at this moment. And yeah, you can check out our past events that we have done. You can check out the link in our profile for like my custom companion guide. And you can check out the other events. I'm hosting events here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. Mel is going to be hosting her own event, so make sure you go back and pretty much follow every single person who's been featured in this event. And you can also schedule your own events here within Ibble. So if you're inspired by what we're doing here, go to the main page, schedule your own event. There's so much for us to be able to do here on this platform. So thank you, Ibble. Thank you to the community. Thank you for making this possible. Again, if you guys want to connect with me, absolutely go ahead, click those links, send me a DM, and we will be back here for more consciousness shifting, mind opening, and heart expanding events. Thank you guys again. Much love. See you in the future. As Mel said, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. All right. So there we go, everyone. There's another beautiful Ibble event that we have completed as a community. Thank you again so much to those of you who are listening to this in the future. Again, I know Ibble's not available in every region, so for some of you, this is currently the only way for you guys to be able to still keep up to date with the content that we're creating there. And if that's the case, thank you so much for listening to these recordings. And again, please go ahead and download Ibble when you can. Your follows on there definitely make a difference. They help us reach our milestones. They help us reach more people. And we're just getting started. Ibble is a platform where we're going to continue to dedicate ourselves to it. They're investing in us. We're investing in them. We're working together as a team. And yeah, we know that there's a lot of potential behind what Ibble has to be able to offer to the community. And as conscious creators, as a squad of conscious creators, we're very excited to be able to play with this new tool and to be able to create some really awesome opportunities and sacred spaces together as a community. So with that said, click the links in the info for this video to be able to download Ibble if you haven't already yet. And feel free to even add your replies to any of the threads within any of to this event, any of the past threads. You can spark stuff, and again, you can check out all of the links in the companion guide to be able to follow the fellow conscious creators on Ibble as well. As always, you can send me a direct message on Instagram if you have any questions about Ibble, and I love all the creative people who are coming over to Ibble and the amazing things that we're creating together. So thank you, each and every single one of you, for being a part of this new chapter in a very exciting journey within the Paradigm Shift Central community. Thank you again to our Patreon supporters. You guys help make all of this hard work possible, and all the links that you need in the info for this video, including our Discord, our Patreon, Ibble, the creators featured within this broadcast, Spotify, Paradigm Shift Radio, all that good stuff. You guys know how it works. With that said, wrapping up here, Mystic Spider-Man, Brendon, Skull Babylon, Wolf Shield. I'll see you guys next time. And yeah, as always, keep it shifty and welcome to the future. Much love.